Hi all. In this video, we'll talk about private, public, and protected modes of inheritance. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and get started by writing a class called point2d, something representing our 2D coordinate system. So point2d. And the way I'll write or define this class is that I'll write two private members, both x and y coordinates. These are of integer type x, integer type y. Both of these are in private scope. And then I'll write some public members. The first one is I'll write a constructor point2d. And then I'll write a parameterized constructor point2d, which takes an integer. And this also takes another integer. Okay. And these integers you can say x and y. Okay. And then I'll write a function void, and the function name deliberately I'm keeping it as setPoint. I'm not writing setPoint 2D. It's just setPoint int x, int y. Okay. And lastly, I'll write another function called display, and I'm calling it as point 2D. Okay. And I'm not writing anything over there. And with this, my class definition is done. So if you see, class point2d has two coordinates x and y, and then there are a default constructor, parameterized constructor, a set function, and a display function. Now, we can inherit this class in three ways. So first, I'll talk about something called as public inheritance. Okay. Now, the idea of inheritance is that we don't want to rewrite the code, but reuse the code. So class, if I write point3d, okay, and if I do something called as public and then give the other class name point2d, that means whatever the features of point2d are there, they are by default inherited into 3D. And we'll see how they are inherited. So here is a little magic that every programming language does. So whatever I'm going to draw in this box, all this is imaginary. Okay. It doesn't exist when we write code. So this part is pure imaginary. And this is something inherited from point2d. That means it's all possible because of this line. Okay. It's all possible because of this line. So the first point to remember, anything private, it cannot be inherited. It's strictly confined to that class. Now, what can be inherited? Anything that was in public, anything that was in protected can be inherited. We'll see in a different video what protected is. But for now, anything in public, and I'm asking it to be public as well here. So anything that was public in point2d class will be public in point3d class too. So visualize this way. There is a constructor that's available for accessing in point2d. There is another constructor that's available for accessing in point2d, which takes integer x and integer y. And then there is a function void set point, which takes integer x, integer y. This is also available and under public scope. And lastly, there is a function display point 2D. All these are available and all of them are inherited. Again, when we say inherited, we do not write them explicitly. They are there. And what we write explicitly is this part. In point3D class, I want all the three features. So I'll create another private variable, and this I'm calling it as z. Okay. And lastly, I'll go ahead and write the public variables. And I'm not actually writing variables, but I'm writing something like point3d. It's a default constructor. point 3D is a parameterized constructor which takes three parameters: int x, int y, int z. And then I'll write the set function void set point. Again, I'm deliberately calling it as point, and this set point takes three parameters: int x, int y, int z. Okay, three parameters. And lastly, I'm writing another function void display point 3D. So now if you notice both the classes, this class, whenever we create an object, point 2D, this is the class name, and let me call it as P1. Okay, so P1 will be kind of I can access this class, and the object is going to look something like this. This is P1. P1 has x and y, and by using P1 dot set point, maybe I can set the values as 10 comma 10. So these two lines here, I'm creating a point and I'm setting points 10 comma 10. Now the same thing, if I create an object, if I create an object for point 3D, okay, there's no space, and let me call it P2. Okay, now how P2 is going to look like is P2 is going to have all the three. Okay, it's going to have X, it's going to have Y, it's going to have Z. So this is because whatever the properties are there, X and Y, they are available for P2, but they are not available directly. When something is not available directly, so we cannot do P2 dot X, we cannot do P2 dot Y equal to 20, something we cannot do. But what we can do is we can do P2 dot set point, and notice that this is the set point, and this set point is in turn is here. So this is the set point where I'm giving 20 comma 20, and as a result this is going to be 20 20. Okay, and that's how you can play around. So anytime you want to reuse code, so instead of writing int x int y in point 3D, I'm reusing it, and because of inheritance all these functions are automatically available, and this is the scope of those functions. So this is the basic concept of inheritance that we are doing. So we are not rewriting code, but we are reusing code, and this is the simplest example I can give. Thank you.